right, y'all. Welcome to Street Church Congregation. Come on in. And for first time visitors, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, this video is going to be about former Detroit mayor by the name of Kwame Kilpatrick. If you don't know about the former mayor, he served, I believe, 28 years in prison for corruption on his part as the mayor of Detroit. And he is now out and about, released from prison after serving his sentence. But there's a young lady who was recently on TikTok by the name of Ashley Jackson. She was on TikTok seeking help from people because she believed her mother, Tamara Greene, was murdered in 2003, and she believes it was by the orders of Kwame Kilpatrick to the police, that he hired police officers to gun down her mother in 2003. Now, to give you a backdrop on it, right? Give you some backdrop on it. Tamara Greene was known as Strawberry, which was her exotic dancer name, right? Stripper name. In Michigan, we used to call strippers exotic dancers. And I don't know if that name is going around, but in those times, like 80s to the early 2000s, we call strippers exotic dancers. And she was considered an exotic dancer. She went by the name Strawberry. Now, it was rumored that Kwame Kilpatrick had an affair with her. Now, Kilpatrick was married at the time. He was elected in 2002. She was killed in 2003. In between that time, months before she was killed in 2003, it was rumored but not proven that she did a performance at the mayor's mansion, which is called the Manoogian Mansion, which is, I believe, like the residence of the mayor for that city. When they become mayor, that mansion is offered to them as a place of residence when they're elected mayor in that city. It was not proven that she was there months before she was killed, but it was rumored. And that Kwame Kilpatrick was in attendance. That also has not been proven. What is suspect, right, which makes him a person of interest, is this. She had a boyfriend by the name of Eric Big E Mitchell. His nickname alias obviously was Big E. His real name was Eric Mitchell. When she was murdered and gunned down, she was dropping off Eric Big E Mitchell. She pulls up to the curb to drop him off, and a white Chevy Blazer pulls up and open fire on her. So it was a drive-by. They pull up on her now and gun her down, shoot her car up. Here's the thing that makes this really bad, right? And I don't know how that this was not more strongly investigated, but let me tell you something about the police in that time, because listen, I'm a former drug dealer, former gang member, gangster disciple. The one thing that Detroit was known for in those times between the mid 80s. This is just my time when I was in my prime selling drugs. Between the mid and late 80s, all the way up to like to where she was gunned down and murdered, right? All the way up to there, Detroit police and government officials all through the Detroit was corrupt. From embezzlement to drugs, they was just as corrupt as the street dudes. Sometimes even more because they had more power. And Kwame Kilpatrick did 28 years in prison as a result of that corruption. And he ain't the only one that done went down in Detroit. Okay? But the police there was corrupt. They even had street names. They were so corrupt. They had a unit of corrupt police officers. So this accusation against Kwame Kilpatrick and the Detroit Police Department is very plausible. But the daughter says that she believes Kwame Kilpatrick hired police to kill her mom. Here's what makes this plausible, right? It's all alleged now, but here's what makes it plausible. One, the guns recovered, right, from this murder were police issued guns. The guns that killed her were police issued guns. Okay? Two, we got a white Blazer pulling up to kill her. White Chevy Blazer. Three, here's a statement on record reported by the Fox Detroit News, like local news outlet. This is what they reported, that the statements came from the former Detroit Police Department Assistant Chief Steve Dolan. Dolan. Dolunt if you want to do some research. He claims that he does not believe that Kwame Kilpatrick, the former mayor of Detroit, hired police to kill her. But then he goes on to say, were people demoted? Yes, because he did the demoting. Who did you demote? If there's you know what I'm saying, if there's nothing going on within your police force concerning, because this was about Tamara Greene. This wasn't about just demoting people in general. This is the response that he gave concerning Tamara Greene and former mayor Kwame Kilpatrick being involved in it. He denies believing that, the former mayor had something to do with it, but says people were demoted. Well, demoted for what? If a reporter asks you, do you believe the former mayor was involved and did he hire police to kill her? And your response is, I don't believe he hired police to kill her, but were people demoted? Yeah, people were demoted because I did the demoting. What were they demoted for? Would be the question. That's where the investigation should go right now. What were they demoted for? Why would you even bring that up? People were demoted. For what? Tampering with evidence? Being persons of interest and then looking too suspicious, but you can't prove anything? Then he goes on to say, he believes that files are missing from Tamara Greene's case. Because he says, nonchalantly, sure, it happens. Do I believe that files are missing? Sure, it happens. This is his statement to a reporter. So files are missing and people got demoted concerning Tamara Greene's murder. That's what makes this very, very, very plausible. But I'm going to give y'all something that has not been said yet. Okay? But this was the rumor also. This was the rumor that once she performed allegedly at the Manoogian mansion, after her performance or her being there caused his wife to pull out a stick or a bat, I believe, and assault her with it or attempt to assault her with it. Now, why ain't nobody trying to talk to the former mayor's wife? Why was she not ever a person of interest? If the rumor is true, she would have all the motive in the world to want to get that girl out the way. Here's another thing too. A former Detroit Police Department Assistant Chief Steve Dolan stated also to the reporter that they believed and reasoned that the boyfriend that she was with was a known drug dealer. Eric Big E Mitchell was a known drug dealer who was allegedly supposed to have a $50,000 drug debt. And that was the reason why they shot at him but missed and got her. Listen, if she pulled up to drop him off, he backdoored her. Eric Big E Mitchell backdoored her. Because ain't no way they missed him for no $50,000 debt. Ain't no way they missed him. Because they could have just simply pulled up when she pulled off, or as she was pulling off, or anything, just jumped out and gunned him down when he was going up to the house that she was pulling up to drop him off at. It was a bunch of ways that they could have got to him and avoided her. He backdoored her. He had her pull up to that house. He got out, and whoever it was who pulled up in that white blazer got to working on her. She was the intended target all the time. And I believe Eric Big E Mitchell backdoored her. It's like the backdoor before the backdoor was ever talked about, before the backdoor was ever a thing that they make it now. Before they ever called it the backdoor, that was the backdoor. That was an obvious backdoor. And sometimes when you falsifying, you end up signifying. A $50,000 debt could be a $50,000 payoff. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes when you falsifying, unwittingly, you get the signifying. He could have easily got out that car and the hitters could have been his people. It didn't have to be no police officer, and they just had police issued guns because the police was involved in supply what was needed to get the job done, and they just was police issued guns. But they don't mean it was police. It could have been Eric Big E Mitchell's people. $50,000 is a lot of money. Whatever they was paid to do her in is big money to split between them. Because it was rumored that she was shaking Kwame Kilpatrick down about their affair. Which means she was threatening to go public with it. Which means it would have been a bad light on him as a politician. Or she could have had something else on him that would have took him down. But he ended up doing 28 years anyway. So he got what was coming to him. 28 years is like a life sentence. That's a long time. But he living and he healthy. And he out and he free. And he doing interviews. And he able to live life, and Tamara Greene is not. I suspect, and I'm gonna just tell you that it was Eric Big E Mitchell who set it all up. And quite possibly Eric Big E Mitchell was his people who did the hit. And he was able to walk away from that car, go into the house, and they pulled right up and gunned her down. And then the playoff was he was the intended target, but they missed him. But was he even in the car? Had he already got out, or was he in the car and ran off when they got the shooting? I doubt it. She pulled up. He had already gotten the house wherever he pulled up, saying he needed to be dropped off at, and they pulled up and gunned her down. And the wife could be involved. The wife could have been the one that called that hit and knew Big E, Eric Mitchell. What if they had something going? See what I'm saying? Somebody she knew from the hood. She probably was from that way too. Right? And she knew Eric Big E Mitchell. But none of this was suspected. And there's files missing. They done did whatever they needed to do to cover their tail. The Detroit Police Department, and this right here, this is suspicious response to the reporter from the former Detroit Police Department Assistant Chief, Steve Dolan. That don't sound right. Why would anybody be getting demoted based on Tamara Greene's murder? Why were people demoted, and why is their files missing? That right there, this case needs to be looked at from all kinds of angles. But I'm with you, Ashley Jackson. There's people in power that has something to do with your mom's demise. I believe that. I believe that. I do believe that. And it's for a reason that ain't been exposed, but it should be. And I pray to God in Jesus' name, hallelujah, that you get justice for your mom's murder. On that, I'm going to let the congregation out. Y'all don't forget, if you've been watching my channel, I appreciate everybody that's been rocking with me and starting to rock with me. I need you to like, I need you to share, I need you to get the videos up, I need you to comment. Let's have a back and forth. I don't mind replying. And remember, there's merch down there. You need you a t-shirt and you need you a coffee mug so you can be in style, right? When you out this spring and summer. On that note, this is Street Church. I'm letting the congregation out. God bless.